I started, well, I mean, I had a guitar when I was 7. I just tinkered with it and, you know, learned to play bits and pieces of stuff. And never, I mean, I took it serious, but not like some guys where they lock themselves in the room for hours. So I was always drawn more to like sounds. So I, you know, I trade a friend for like a Les Paul copy, trying to get some sort of distortion sound, right? Trade friends for their little amp, or, you know, trade pedals, all that sort of thing. So I was always more into the tonal aspect. I still did play a little bit, and you know, I played through different types of rock bands, and, you know, at that time grunge bands, and or whatever you want to call it, alternative at the time, yes. As I got a little older, country bands, and just everything was kind of born out of being poor and trying to take my cheap little pedals that I had and turn them into something that I at least wanted to play through. So, and that's kind of where it all originated from. You know, it wasn't even going to be a business at all. You know, I was working construction of all things, so I was like roofing houses and stuff like that. And I'd just come home at night and just for fun, just mess around with stuff, taking pedals apart and seeing, you know, how they worked and what happened whenever you changed different components. And yeah, so it just started as a hobby, and I was on different gear forums. And so there's a couple guys, you know, I might sell like a few modified pedals to them, or trade them like a pedal for a modified pedal. And it just slowly, you know, little by little build up just a little bit of a base where people knew that I was doing mods. And that led to me, you know, people would ask me, well, what did you do on this mod? So then I like wrote this little book and self-published this book about, you know, how to modify all these different pedals. And this is all part-time, keep in mind. So I did that for, I don't know, maybe a couple years. Every now and then I'd have someone ask me to build them, you know, like, can you build me a tube screamer or a fuzz face or something? And then I just, you know, someone would email me and say, hey, I'm a retailer. Is there any way that we could buy a couple of pedals off you? You know, can you build me a couple, you know, some sort of overdrive? So I'd build a couple for, you know, some random dealer somewhere. And that really just led to, just little by little, it just built up and built up. More people heard about it. More dealers started asking. Finally somebody said, you need a line. You need to actually make some standard pedals, put your name on it, and, you know, sell them to different retail shops. And I had no idea. So, and this was, I was trying to do both jobs at once. And eventually there was a point where I was like, okay, I think this is actually a real business. Because I can't do both. I can't keep coming home and staying up all night and building pedals and then going to work the next day. So at one time it's like, okay, I'm just going to try to do the pedal thing. And here we are later. I wouldn't say it was like a player necessarily that made me think it was going to get big. More than anything, I think getting those players, like I was a huge Brent Mason fan, like stupid huge. I mean, for example, I named my son after Brent Mason before I knew Brent Mason. You know, which is kind of messed up if you think about it. That's a little, it's on the verge of stalking. So, you know, and when I got him to like use my stuff, that was like, you know, I was in 7th heaven. So that was like a really cool turning point for me, but not necessarily where I thought this is going to be a business, just more where I thought, wow, this is awesome. But I mean, the actual turning point was just where, like I was telling you, I had to decide, am I going to continue staying up all night and building pedals and, you know, work my other job, or am I just going to put all of my effort into it? So yeah, between, you know, Brent Mason and Brad Paisley was my other one. You know, kind of getting hooked up with him was a big deal for me. Oh, that's easy. I was actually driving down to Nashville, playing on Broadway like twice a week, and from Indiana. And I got to the point like, this kind of sucks, and all these guys are really better than me. And I was like, but what I really like is just like playing through my pedals like a gig volume. That's the part I liked. everything else, I'm like, you know, I don't care if the place is empty. I just want to play the gear. So that was the cool part. So then I realized I'm probably not ever going to be, you know, one, I don't want to be traveling around a lot. I couldn't be stuck on a bus for, you know, for about an hour is about the longest period of time. And I'd be like, let me off this thing now, I'll walk. You know? So, and I figured, this is all things I figured out in my 20s. So I got to the point where, I don't know, you just start doing what you love. You know, you do more of it, and then doors open.